Hello YouTube family, James Green, Short Series Shenanigans. We are out here in the garage and we're going to do a set of videos for Bridget here, the Bridgeport mill. As you guys know, in case you haven't been following me and you're new to the channel, I recently acquired this Bridgeport Series 1J head mill, and according to this serial number, it was made back in 1967. So Bridget, you know, she's a classy lady. She got some real nice looking curves, but she has some wear on her, some things that, you know, they need some little tender love and care. So basically what we've done so far, this video is going to be about changing out the power feed. Now, as you guys know, before, that old power feed, it's gone. I've taken it off. So this video is going to be about putting the new one on. Kind of give you an update. I just got them installed today. New wipers all the way around on the front, the back, and then for the knee itself. The other ones were they were the one I opened up and looked at looked okay, but the others, it looked like someone had removed them from another mill and put them in, but they were really rusty looking, lots of aluminum stuck in there. So and those were actually the ones that were in the best shape was the ones that was on the back. Essentially up here, these were pretty bad. There was virtually no felt wipers left on the back right here on this area. So we've got them in, got it cleaned up, and of course, you know, oiler's working good, so that's good. Moved it around. We got, because the gentleman had said that the feed, it worked, and I asked him, I said, well, this is kind of a loose, and he was like, well, yeah, if you like press in on it, like, you know, it'll work. And I was like, okay, you know, it was a good enough deal. I knew I was going to have to go in there and look. Well, luckily, all it was one piece in the, when you take that clutch assembly out and you look in your book, it is the piece that is around underneath the spring-loaded piece. You have to take a snap ring apart and pull it off. That was the original piece. You could tell it had been busted for quite some time. So what he was actually doing to get it to work, because when I opened this up and took it off, aluminum foil fell out. He had, I guess, taken a wad of aluminum foil and had it jammed in behind the cap in here, and this wasn't adjusted because this actually adjusts the arm and the engagement and all that. So we took it out, ordered that, got it. The new replacement part was actually steel, which was nice. So they're not too complicated. Like I said, I've showed that book before. I've got it put up. Definitely get one of those books. They're worth it. And if you guys want to know, just reference back to my other video and you'll see. But other than that, so it's working great as advertised. When you engage it, in, out, all that, works as advertised. We had to go through here and blow oil and stuff up in here because the oils, as typical as this is, just like down here, all these other parts, the flying swarf and oil had gotten hard, and I call crustified. Yes, so it didn't work. It works now, works great. While we were at it, I went ahead and added one more, because you can actually adjust this, the quill. A lot of people aren't familiar with, if you have this type of quill on here, okay, just so you know, now you don't want to wind it too tight, but you can actually loosen these two screws. Now you got to hold on to it when you get that other one out, because this is a wound up, it's a spring similar to, and I use the analogy of a tape measure. It's a coil spring, or a flat, I'm sorry, not coil, it's a flat wound spring. So I went ahead and rotated it just a half turn because it was sagging just a little bit, and now it's tight. So get the camera back up here where you guys are at. So series of videos, don't know how many it's going to take, but I figured it would be a good material. So yeah, I took all this off, removed it, and had to disassemble because it's not a simple just bolted on. Now, however, had this just been the original with no power feed, this lead screw and everything would have been a little bit different. And I know everyone's going to say, why don't you do the ball screw adjustment and do all that? And I'm not. I'm just, there's not a whole lot of, it's actually in pretty good shape. What I need to do, and I will get up under the left side, and I've got to adjust the backlash out of here and here. It's really not that much. And I say not that much, 50 thousandths, but you know, that's something as I'm slowly going on, I will do that and get in there and adjust and everything. So that's on the list to do. We disassembled the gearbox. So this is the piece that slides on. Rather than reinvent the wheel, because as I said before, we're just, me being a garage guy, it's like work with what you got. So that slot in there, this is the part that actually fits over inside when you worked your handle, and there was a key in there that helped you engage and disengage the clutch. That just slides right on the shaft. There's a key in there and it just slides off and on. So essentially what we've got to do is recreate this portion here, but down here. Okay, I don't know if I'm going to have enough to be able to do that before I have, because what if I can't get it to work with what I have here, then what I'm going to do is we'll drill this out, because there's a pin that goes all the way through. I've tried hammering this pin out. This pin will not come out. So, because we can still use the mill, you know, it doesn't disable it. It just means we don't have the handle on the right side, so we'll have to use the handle on the left. And we may go ahead and do that more than likely, but I already know the way that this is set up in here with this shaft. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to try to cut on this. Because I can already tell that that's not going to be enough for what we need, because we need to have at least 4 1/4. Yeah. And plus we're going to have that slot in there, and we don't want that, because that's going to be out here on the end, and I don't want to be, and I'm going to have to be turning this down because it's too big and that'll blow up. So scratch that idea. Change number 5 million. So we've already done some pre-measurements ahead of time off camera. This is actually 20 threads per inch, 1/2 inch. Now it's interesting because it's actually 1/2 inch diameter on top of the threads. I thought that was kind of interesting. That's just for the handle to go on. We're 5/8 straight on here, and then we've got a really small 125 thousandths keyway in there for the half moon key. We're going to cut that in, and I've got the key cutter. Matter of fact, I dug through all my key cutters, and this is a very old, it's been in a container for a while, very well taken care of. You know me here in New Mexico, I got a lot of new old stock stuff, and so brand new, never used. The stuff that's on there looks like it's just from being in and out of the package, but it is what we need. It's what the doctor ordered, and this one was actually made in Korea. So, you know, it's good shape. We got a half moon key, slot cutter. That's what we're going to use, and we measured it against the old hole and the key and measured, and it'll work. So there we go. That's what we're going to be using. So I'm going to move the camera over here to the table and kind of show you what we got. Now, because this is going to be a multiple part series, again, there's a lot of, let me raise the camera up. There are a lot of, you know, Bridgeport clone machines, and depending on what size table you have, this is 9x42. Again, they're all very, very similar, but there's, you know, nuances to each machine. So in my case, this is what I'm doing to solve the issue, because this isn't just we'll pull it off and slap the little adapter thing on and it'll be just fine. So that's not the case. But on some of them they advertise, oh yeah, just pull it off, and that will actually supposedly mesh up with, you could pull that clutch gear off. But look, oh, looky there, yeah, that's not going to match up, because you have, you know, a hypoid gear and a straight. Those are not going to match up at all. any way, shape, or form. So essentially what I'm going to do is create what is going to work for me on this mill. And so it's going to be a series of videos. And I got and purchased this from All Industrial Tool Supply. So very, very super nice people. Matter of fact, I got a clamping set from them for this. I purchased other things from them before in the past. They're very, very nice people. The gentleman, the owner of the company, Mr. Jeff Perry, he just happened to answer the phone when I called and had some questions about the power feed. And he was more than happy to answer them. And so I told him what I had going on. And he's like, sounds good. Hey, would you do a video to kind of show people? I said, well, I plan on doing it, because I explained to him about the YouTube channel. So this is to kind of showcase, hey, if you have a mill and you want to get one, All Industrial Tool Supply has the power feeds for X, Y, and Z axis. Essentially they're the same. The only thing that's going to change is how it mounts to your particular machine. So in my case, I knew it wasn't going to be a bolt-on fit unless I went with, contacted Bridgeport and to get something similar to keep with the vintage style, which I wasn't concerned about. I was going to pay what I thought was more money than what I needed to spend. So we were able to happily get into this for under $300 shipped. It came very well, nice package. Matter of fact, I've already got the box. I've been putting the other parts that came off this. Like I said, if you guys are needing a part for this, or if you're interested in what's left of this power feed here, again, it's the motor. The motor doesn't work. It needs the secondary windings, that, and the other parts, and the board. Again, it's all one deal. If you need it, let me know. One May, it's going away. It's, disappearing. So, because I know this video will be on the internet for forever, so it's going to be a series of videos. I haven't powered it up yet, but it's got your basic stuff. I mean, you guys can pull this up, go to All Industrial Tool Supply. They also have an eBay store on there, and that's where I looked at this, because it's like, we're always shopping for things. What's the best bang for your buck? They also have, because they do have import tools, there's a lot of stuff that's out there like that. They have a lot of the same stuff as Schar's, exactly the same, and it's the exact same tooling. This was the exact same thing, and I thought, why pay more for the exact same thing? And like I said, I've done business with them before. They sell Noga, they sell Kurt. There's a lot of they sell Aloris and Dorian tooling. Go to their site, go to their eBay store, check it out. They got a lot of stuff. If you guys see something on there, or you're looking for something and you don't see it, contact them. Hey, have you got, now information is going to be down below in the description box, and I will put information in there. Again, it's going to be a series of videos, how I go through this whole process of problem solving, so that way if you happen to be, hey, I want to put a power feed on my mill, how do I go about it? Because there's nothing that, oh, just bolt it on, easy assembly, done in 15 minutes. Yeah, I don't think so. So anyway, it was very well, nicely packed, and we went through, disassembled it to keep what parts we needed to. It came with this brass adapter, which that's where your wheel goes on, slides into for your indicator and measurements, and this all fits onto the end. And finally, we're going to have to create part for the shaft, because we're keeping our handle and all that, and it'll be out here above. Because essentially what will happen is this will all be through here and inside and mounted and all that good stuff. So I was impressed. Everything was packed nicely. I went in and pulled it out, blowed all the styrofoam off. A good solid aluminum, mounting plate, matches right up. Everything else was in your boxes. They send washers, and I haven't opened these up yet because they're still in there. I'm a big fan of, when I get ready to put things together, I will pull them out and put them in the magnetic trays. And I've got several floating around here. And when you need them, they're not in front of you, they are hiding. And I have others hiding everywhere else but where I need them. I've got like 12 of them walking around this shop. Okay, well, oh, there it is. No, that one's already full of stuff. All right, well, we'll get one because I've got, you know, oh here, I'll just put it in here for right now, that'll work. That's the one that I had in my, let's see, again, live and unedited. This is what I had some of the anchor lube in several days ago when I was working on stainless. So, use a little carb cleaner, get because oil and other junk floating around, we'll get all that out. I'm a big fan of these. Big. Because when you get ready to do a project, they have them like in the 6-inch and 4-inch, but you get ready to do a project, you can pull everything out. And I'm always using them for that. Stan Zukowski talks about that. Just put you some anchor lube in there, an acid brush, and there you go, and it's protected. So we're going to go ahead and open everything up here, set it up there, and we will start opening the contents. We'll do that first. Now you have to be careful when you get this and open it up, because there are some small spacers on there, shims, okay? So obviously that's not magnetic, and that's why I slid this back on top so we won't lose any of the shims. Set it over there. So we'll go ahead and open our package up here. Incorporate said contents into bowl, magnetic bowl. Double bag, that's good. So it's always handy, just so you don't lose stuff. Put them in the little magnetic tray. And there's even shims in this package here, and adjustment nut, a couple cap screws. So there we go. Looks like a lot of shims and washers. We'll follow the directions as we go along. Get rid of that. Big hunk of foam. Get rid of that. And these are the stops, the adjustable stops that it comes with, because mine were not on the mill, they were gone. So it comes with some very hard plastic, like not cheap plastic. I'm talking this is like the good stuff. And what I call the good plastic is it just seems to be a better grade. It seems to be, I don't even know what the technical term of it would be. Again, I'm not a plastics guru. I'm sure it starts with the word poly, meaning multiple, whatever. So, but anyway, it seems to be made of a very good injection molded plastic here. Spring, you know, set up. You got your little adjustments where you can slide them into the slots. So we'll clean out our slots because I've still got to go through and clean out that slot on the front and get it cleaned up, as well as set that out of the way. The machine itself, or the power feed itself, is 110. What I was impressed about it with was notice that on both sides had a seal. Okay, so I like that. I was impressed. So even though that's open right there, it came sealed. So to me, I was already impressed with that. Again, I looked at a lot of them. I even had some people mention another brand, and I won't mention the brand because for obvious, you know, reasons. This is about, you know, I purchased this brand one, Asong, and it is from All Industrial Tool Supply. Now, note, that other company that people had told me about, I went and looked at their stuff. A lot of these are actually made in the same factory in Taiwan. Some people automatically think import and junk. Believe it or not, there's actually some pretty good built stuff over there. I have a friend who has a machine shop. I went and looked at his. The name brand ones that he has, the only thing that was different, and they had that name brand on it, was the paint. Everything else was exactly the same. I mean, we're talking yellow button, the whole, it was just painted a different color. And we looked on the back, and sure enough, even though it had that other, I thought it was funny. It had a tag over here, you know, and it just had a flag and said USA. You automatically think, oh, it's made in USA. No, it just said USA and it had the American flag. I looked on the back, and sure enough, there was this exact same tag that said made in China, which means, you know, Taiwan, because that's how they have to label things for export purposes for their laws. So I was impressed with that. There's different areas, locating pins, where you can adjust these, and you can move them according to how you want this power feed to mount, to hang. Again, so I've seen people use power feeds other than mills. I mean, I've seen on lathe applications for different things. Matter of fact, my buddy Adam Booth, go check his channel out, A-Bomb79. He ended up doing something on one of his videos at his company where they used a power feed to work on, I forget exactly the application, but it was some sort of mechanism to help do work on the lathe. Again, all you needed is to drive something, so it's what you apply it to is how it works. So comes with 110, and then of course it has the limit switch, which we're going to pull off the little stud stops here on the old stuff. So the limit switch, that's where it mounts. It's going to fit right up, and we'll you know, we'll give it a try. Like I said, I'm not going to power this up until I have it on there ready to go. So before I even pull the plastic off of that and get ready, because I'm not going to unseal it, and I tried to see if it came off. It didn't come off very easy. So through this whole series of videos, again, I don't know how many it's going to take, but I'm really impressed. I want to give a shout out. The gentleman's name, owner at All Industrial Tool Supply, is Mr. Jeff Perry. He was very, very nice and knowledgeable, answered a lot of questions, and so that's what, again, they helped me out with something when I called him, and I had accidentally ordered the wrong thing. They were thoughtful enough, rather than, for those of you that deal with stuff on eBay, trying to play message war, they just, hey, I had ordered the wrong thing, and I sent them a message, hey, I'd like to cancel this and reorder this. So rather than play message tagged, they went out of their way and called me and says, what exactly can we do? So I was very, very happy with them. Matter of fact, if you call them and speak to them on the phone, you actually get a better deal because you don't have to pay the eBay fees and all that. So pretty interesting. So I told him I had a YouTube channel, and he said, hey, we'd really appreciate if you'd make a video. Again, I purchased this. They didn't give it to me. So it's primarily to show you guys through this whole process. There's going to be machining on the lathe. There's going to be machining on the mill itself. And so it's going to be a unique project. Again, other than just standard lathe work and milling, the project in and of itself is going to be interesting. It's going to be, again, I don't know how many episodes, but we're going to be, and so if you end up having this exact same setup or something similar to it, hopefully this set of videos will be able to show you the steps to go through and either build it yourself or have a buddy that may have a lathe and a mill, and hey, can you build me this shaft? This is what we need to do. Primarily the big thing is building the shaft and figuring out all the dimensions. I was fortunate enough to be able to just scavenge, you know, and rather than destroy this shaft, because the shaft is good, there's nothing wrong with it, but I am going to drill out and reuse a coupling. Why remake a coupling? So we're going to attempt to drill this out, knock the pin out, and reuse this coupling. And so we'll get started. Lots of good machining going on in the next couple of videos. And so as I progress through this project, this is fitted in amongst all my other, you know, I showed you guys some heat treating the other day. Just a side note, didn't go as planned on the second go around. Again, horseshoe metal, you don't know what it's made out of, not the ideal thing, so didn't work. You know, we'll probably end up just spray painting them, you know, and so, you know, that's what it is. It was all about, you know, experiment, but what I did find out, my times on my large crucibles, because then now I know times and temperatures on those larger crucibles, what'll work, what won't. got some larger gloves. So yes, we went to our local welding store rather than take a chance on the internet and tried them on. Got the really big Tillman 850 XL, and the reason I got the extra large is because my hands aren't that thick. Honestly, they're not. Mediums were tight, larges fit okay, but I wanted to have plenty of movement and the reasoning behind this, why I got the extra large ones. What happens to leather when it gets hot? It shrinks. So with that in mind, I made sure I got them extra large just because I know, and these are going to be just for the kiln, nothing else. I've got other gloves for doing arc and other types of welding and grinding, so those are just for the kiln, and those are actually elk hide gloves. So they were the same price as all the others, so I was like, might as well. Anyway, there we go. More videos to follow. Lots of neat stuff. We got a little bit of time left. Trying to think if there's anything else. Picked up, because you know everybody has one of these. Well, not everybody. Instead of having a big box on the Z, because cranking the handle, and other guys have showed these on their channels before, I picked one of those up, and I got a drill. It is a Makita, and it is the XFD10. So that's actually a 1/2 inch drill, and it's a bright light there. The batteries change out. Pretty neat charger. I picked that up at Home Depot, and that's about 160 bucks. Military discount, all that good stuff. It works, and it's a 1/2 inch keyless chuck, and you can adjust it to where it clutches down or whatever. I primarily bought this to see if it will move the knee up and down, and it moves the knee up and down. I'm very impressed with it. Just like with any drill, if you just keep it up and down, you know, you could burn one up. But for what this is primarily designed to do, move the knee up and down instead of cranking it, you know, when you have to move a large distance, it works great. And plus it's nice to have an extra good 1/2 inch quality battery drill around. So the old Chicago Electric, obviously it's a little impact drive, but my big 1/2 inch Harbor Freight drill, it's not designed for that much torque and power. And I actually hooked it up, and it wasn't pretty. So we decided we need to get us a good drill for it. So that's what we got going on. More videos to follow. This series will be the Bridgeport power feed modification install. So thanks for watching. There you go. Again, thank you, Jeff. All Industrial Tools Supply. You guys go check them out. Link description in the box. Check out up here where I've had my cards. Lots of neat stuff coming up. Stay tuned. More adventures. We'll follow on. We'll move over. We'll get started. And so, James Green, Short Series Shenanigans. Remember, take care of yourself and your family, because at the end of the day, you and your family is all you got. If you guys have any questions about anything, my public email address, eagledustoff37@gmail.com. Talk to you later. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.